Hello, Dense MC here with another Charlie's Angels summary and review. Broadcast on January 5th, 1977, Angel Trap is the 13th episode. ABC reran episode 2, The Mexican Connection, on the December 29th, 1976 time slot, so this is the first episode of the new year, 1977. Charlie's old World War II buddy hires the Angels when members of his old squad are being systematically assassinated. Eventually, they discover this to be the work of one man, also a figure from the past. Sabrina sticks with the last remaining potential target, while Kelly and Jill set a trap for the assassin. Things get complicated when Jill catches up to the professional assassin, but finds the older man charming and sympathetic. This episode features Fernando Lamas as the charming assassin codenamed Jericho, John Larch as Charlie's ex-spy friend Camden, and Phyllis Avery as French ex-spy Janine Marchand. Previously, both Fernando Lamas and Farrah Fawcett were in the 1975 movie Murder on Flight 502. One must bear in mind that all the characters operating at the end of World War II would be in their late 40s or early 50s at their youngest in 1976. So while Sabrina being paired up with Camden and Jill falling for Jericho does stretch believability a little, it is just a hair within the acceptable. It also helps that younger women with older men was also still quite prevalent at this time, although on the way out socially. Most interesting quote and scene of the episode is one which has no real bearing on either the case or the plot, but it really stuck out to me. Sabrina, keeping an eye on Camden, are together in the apartment when Bosley comes to the door. They let him in, noting he's wearing an obvious disguise. Camden says, "If Jericho's never seen you, why do you need a disguise?" And Bosley replies, "Well, if he sees me like this, then he won't recognize me when I'm being myself." While the scene is played humorously, it really does make sense, and it's one of the few actions Bosley takes on his own initiative that makes him seem competent. The opening scene, with Jericho setting up to get his target and carrying it out quite efficiently, is set to very cool, subtle music. After Jericho cleans up, he notices a stray kitten which he picks up gently. It immediately shows the viewer that this cold killer still has humanity. Two odd things about this scene, though. The first is the firearm used. A Thompson Center Contender is a small hunting pistol, perfect for the mission. However, it makes a typical Hollywood silencer noise, despite having nothing attached to the barrel. Secondly, after removing his handyman disguise, he leaves his car behind and exits the area on foot with a case full of guns, none of which makes sense to me. Jericho is hired by a man who has political aspirations but doesn't want his ugly World War II past to jeopardize it. The targets are the fellow members of the Allied intelligence unit operating in occupied France who might remember and expose him. The Angels confirm the identity of the assassin by his methods, revealed by a nervous French ex-spy and ex-coworker Marchand. Working with an equally nervous Camden, they plan to use him as bait to trap Jericho to figure out who hired him and why. When Jericho doesn't fall for the first trap, it's up to Jill to get close to him and learn his next move. Maybe he was tipped off by Kelly playing the least believable hot dog vendor on Earth. Many reviewers cite Jericho's opening up to Jill and her attachment to him as being too quick. However, we already see Jericho's vulnerable side with the kitten and even with Kelly. As for Jill, she has a history with using her intuition to read men, and so far he's done nothing but be genuinely kind. But it's back to business for both of them when Jericho's client contacts him, forcing him to speed up. Before the attempt, Jericho lets the kitten go, symbolically choosing his assassin lifestyle over a regular one. This time, the Angels' trap works, and a saddened Jill confronts a wounded Jericho ready to be arrested. It's unclear what leads to his sloppiness while stalking Camden this time. Either the trap was always going to work, or some factor like Jill's charm affects him. We, the viewer, can only speculate. This is also one of the few times we see Charlie on the phone by himself. No barely clad lady attending him, just a chess set. This episode is slow and full of strong character acting rather than action and titillation. If you're in the mood for tragic romantic antagonists, this is a great episode. However, if you see this as outside the norm for a Charlie's Angels episode, it will be painfully dull. Personally, I found it a great palate cleanser after all the action of the previous episode, Angels on Wheels, especially if you're binge-watching the whole season. IMDb gave this episode a 7.2 out of 10, and I'll agree with that. It's just above average, no matter your mindset while viewing it. Good morning, Charlie.